Hi, this is Tim from Tiger Astronomy, and I've just been reflecting today on how the boundaries between Windows and Linux are becoming a bit blurred these days. So just to demonstrate this, you can see I've got here a PowerShell window open, and this is the new PowerShell Core preview, PowerShell 7. This would work in regular PowerShell, but I happen to be trying out PowerShell Core. So if I want to do something in Linux, I can just go in here and type bash to get the bash shell up, and that's running in Linux on Windows. That's insane. Think about that. So this is actually a proper Linux prompt. It's not you can do Linux commands in here, and this is just crazy. And if we want to, we just Control D and that logs me out. Hang on, there are stop jobs apparently. There we go, back in PowerShell. So the other thing is, I was looking at a video by Scott Hanselman earlier today, and he mentioned this new thing called the Windows Terminal, which is this guy here, which is currently in preview, and you can get this on the Windows Store. And this is really nice because you can just new up terminals for different things, and I've got PowerShell Core, regular PowerShell. I've got Ubuntu Linux configured in here, so we can just get up a Linux window, and we can install. Thanks Google. We can install Linux apps on here, and one of the ones I quite like is this one. Now we have to do a bit of setting up for this, and I'm going to try and install Rethink Db, which is a NoSQL database, and it does take a bit of setup though, because it's not in the Ubuntu default repositories. Did I press enter there? Okay, alright, I did press enter. And then, okay, so, no. I'm using Linux commands here. This is nothing to do with Windows now. Yeah, I'm running in Windows, which just messes with your head a bit. So that's just updating all the installation databases and things. The Linux, okay, so this all works based on something called the Windows Subsystem for Linux, or WSL, which is built into Windows 10. And but it's not enabled by default. If you open up a command prompt or a PowerShell window and type bash, it will tell you that you need to go ahead and enable Windows Subsystem for Linux. And then once that's enabled, which you do in add remove features in the control panel, it's like a tiny virtual machine basically. And then you can go off to the Windows Store, and there's 8 or 10 different Linux distributions you can download, and the first one was this Ubuntu one, but there's Fedora, there's something called Penguin, Pengwin, which is very clever, which is a distribution that's been specially made to work with Windows Subsystem for Linux and this new Windows Terminal, and has got all sorts of windowy nice features in. And it's got an X server built in, for example, so you can run X graphics applications and so on. But that one's not free. So coming back to the point, let's see if we can install Rethink Db. Do you want to continue? Yeah, I do. I just think this is crazy running Linux on Windows 10. I can't get my head around it. I mean, it's only a virtual machine. It's not exactly new technology, but they've done it in such a way that it just integrates really smoothly with Windows. And you can see up here there's these mount/c/user/tim, so that's my user home directory, and my other drives will appear there under /mnt. I've got 3 drives on my system in all, one of which is a storage space built up of 2 drives in a mirror configuration, and that all just works. And you can do crazy stuff like this, which you wouldn't be able to do in Linux. And it's opened on my other screen, but there it is. It's the other that opens Windows Explorer. She's just mad. So, okay, Rethink DB is up and running. And then so we ought to be able to... Now, I have here a browser window, and this is Microsoft Edge Insider, which is the preview version of Edge, the Edge browser, which is now built on the Chrome rendering engine, WebKit I think it is. I can't remember which one Chrome uses, but Microsoft finally gave up and used Chrome and made it look like Edge, which is probably a good move. So we ought to be able to go localhost 8080, and there is my Rethink DB instance running in Edge, which is really Chrome, on Windows, communicating to Linux, Ubuntu Linux, running Linux version of Rethink DB in my Windows 10. And wow, just look at that. So we can do things like creating tables, and we can create a database. We've got a database. We can create a test table, and create, just crazy stuff. This is actually a functioning distributed database now, which is just a bit mind-blowing, really. So that's it. I've waxed lyrical about the Windows Subsystem for Linux, Windows Terminal, which is in preview, Windows PowerShell Core, which is in preview, Edge Insider, which is in preview, and as I said, the line between Windows and Linux is getting quite blurry. I've been Tim from Tiger Astronomy. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.